Hi, and welcome back to Mission Success Women in Multifamily, the monthly podcast series dedicated to female leaders in the multifamily industry. I'm Laura Kalugar, Senior Editor with Multi Housing News. As a property owner or manager, you might already invest in many events, activities, and actions that make a difference in the communities you serve. But doing good can be so easy. Sometimes just being willing to lend a helping hand is enough. For example, nonprofit Move for Hunger is teaming up with the multifamily industry to fight hunger by facilitating food donations from residents to those who need them most. How does it all work and how can you get involved? I've invited Bridget Foley, Director of Multifamily Memberships for Move for Hunger, to tell us all about how easy it is to do good. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation.
Of course. I'm happy to be here.
So, first of all, let's get to know you a bit. Who are you? Tell me a few details about your education, your background, and most importantly, how you ended up working with a nonprofit.
I have always wanted to do good. I was a Girl Scout. I have always had that do good spirit in my life. Being part of volunteer groups throughout my high school and then into college career, post grad. I went to JMU, James Madison University, go Dukes down in Virginia. And there's this real excitement and this motto down at JMU that you are the change, right? That has always called to me throughout my entire life, was instilled to me not only through, again, the Girl Scouts and my volunteerism, but through my faith as well. And I think, having that holistic kind of background led me to a nonprofit career. What's really amazing is I get to hang out with a bunch of amazing just individuals in the multifamily sphere, something I never thought that I was going to do.
Mhm.
And I just get to do good every day. And I think that's the key to at least why I ended up in a nonprofit. I have had a lot of background in different nonprofit and development, in the development sphere. So, working with the American Diabetes Association, working with a smaller camp up in northern New Jersey called Camp Najeta, which works with diabetes, people with diabetes, kids with diabetes, to uh, to give them that experience of summer camp, super fun. And again, I've always wanted to do good and always wanted to make the change in the world and really make an impact. So that's sort of where I kind of came from. Education wise, I did study health sciences and policy, so public policy. And within my studies, that's really where I grew a love for the actual nonprofit career itself. Again, making changes not only in policy, in health education, and in public health, but finding different nonprofits through research development and helping fund those causes as well. So that's a little bit. I kind of went a little backwards. I took your answer and I went backwards, but
That's okay.
what drives you is really what I think is the true cause of why you have your education, your professional background anyway, right?
Yeah. And now you're a director of multifamily memberships for Move for
Mhm.
Hunger. For those who are listening and are not familiar with Move for Hunger, just describe what the organization does exactly and what its goals are. Why does it exist?
Unfortunately, 1 in 8 Americans are going to bed hungry, and we are throwing away good, non-perishable, and bulk food and perishable food throughout our entire supply chain. So back in 2009, our executive director, Adam Lowy, was working on his family's moving company on the trucks, right? And noticed this, said, there's a bunch of food that's being tossed. I can make a change, right? Taking
Mhm.
that be the change motto and bringing it to his own family's moving company. Um, Generally, we exist because that food is being wasted, and you can make a change and you can help supply food to your local communities. We do that through an array of different different programs. Multifamily is just a small subset of our operations. Multifamily program, we are looking at people like different properties who are doing resident engagement events. So working with food drives, our donate your food when you move program, which is exactly what the movers do as well, and what our executive director, his family's moving company became the role model of, right? Donating your food when there's rather than tossing it out, contributing to that food waste. We also
Right.
have our non-perishable bulk transports, so working with production sites, working with different ports and things like that, to help rescue food when maybe it missed a date. We're there to rescue that food and bring it to a food bank. We also work with farmers and harvesters, gleaning organizations to help with different kind of food drops, is what we call them, across the US. We work with fisheries too, up in the Northeast, you know, helping provide that fresh food to our community partners as well. So we have a lot that we do. I think, like to keep it easy and simple though, and really like to have that marketing and that awareness piece, because that's what's really at the end, at the core of everything. Everything that we do is education, making
Right.
sure that people know that these are the issues at hand. Food insecurity is rampant, so is food waste, and we can make that change. You can be that change, help our organization create an impact for years to come.
You mentioned food insecurity and food waste. Do you have any data related to hunger and food insecurity across the US and how much food is wasted when people move?
Yeah, so, we work very closely with Feeding America. So I'll use some statistics from them. They estimate that about 92 billion pounds of food is just wasted annually,
Wow.
which is about 145 billion meals. To put that into money terms, that's about $473 billion that is worth of food that is wasted every year. That's
Wow.
incredible. And,
Huge number. Hmm.
it like truly, we found that about 35% of that food that's produced here in the US goes either unsold, uneaten, and is wasted. But the average household can really contribute to about 330 pounds of food each year, that would otherwise be tossed out from daily consumption, including that moving related waste as well. So, all this to say is that 1 in 5 kids are going to bed hungry. 1 in 8 Americans are going to bed hungry each day. And that's people who are, like you and me, people who have a 9 to 5, people who are your residents. They may be going to the food bank because they have to pay rent or a health related bill comes down the line. Um, and with today's funding cuts from today's current administration, that number is going to exacerbate very quickly. We hear stories personally from across the US in Nevada, New Jersey, Florida, all saying the same, that there's enough food to go around, but we need to just get it to where it goes, like where it needs to go, right? Without this
Right.
funding and
Someone needs to
programs.
collect it.
Exactly. And like again, without the funding, without programs like ours, we're really going to see this food bank system just feel the effects really greatly. So yeah, there is food. We're just wasting it. And if we were to save that food, we can feed people 3 times a day for a full year. If we were just to save, that 35% that's being wasted each year.
Wasted. Hmm. And how do you convince owners and managers to join this cause? How do decision makers in the multifamily industry hear about you and your programs?
Yeah, so I mean, we're kind of all over, right? We're going to trade shows, we're working with different associations. We have about 27 now or 28 local affiliates that we work with, but we
Hmm.
also work with the National Apartment Association, to really highlight our cause through the NEA Gives committee specifically, which is an amazing committee. But when we do finally get our foot in the door, right, when we're talking with people about our program, they love the idea that we're a simple and effective way to help give back to the local communities. Um, ESG, sustainability, CSR, all these buzzwords, quote unquote, are no longer buzzwords in the multifamily industry, right? We
They
want to
translate into
be
action. Yeah.
exactly. We want we want to make sure that people are understanding that there's environmental, social, and governance issues out there. And that's something that a lot of people are wanting to make sure that you have those, initiatives that back up each of your ESG, each of your goals. So we're a really easy way to help do that, to help hit your goals with low lift to your property team, to your corporate teams, allowing yourself, your teams, and your brand to be part of something bigger.
And how exactly does the program work? Just describe the entire process. So they enroll in the
Yeah.
program, and what's the next step?
Yeah, so once you're part of our membership program on the multifamily side, we train you. We have a wonderful how-to. We have a fabulous, like, kind of fireside chat training program throughout the year where we talk about said program, right? So the way that I like to say it is that we have three pillars. We educate, we collect, and we deliver. The first, and that's kind of across, from the donate your food when you move program to the food drives and the awareness campaigns, right? So you're educating people, you're utilizing our program letters that we provide for you. They are co-branded. You're just talking, right? It's really great for that part to be used during your leasing portion, making sure that prospective residents know that you're giving back to the local community, right? You can use it
Hmm.
throughout the entire year. You posting the program letter in like your elevator or in your lobby, making a donation station with the food collection bags that we provide you. Again, educating throughout the year and saying, hey, if you want to donate throughout the year, you're doing maybe a closet clean out, or maybe you're going to the grocery store and can grab a few more cans of food or pasta or anything like that. Come on, bring it on over. We'll work with you to donate it to the local food bank. And then, of course, when people are moving, having our program letters and our marketing materials that we provide as part of that kind of step-by-step SOP for the on-site teams to just say, hey, want to donate your food when you move? Which was that simple question that Adam did, all those years ago, back in 2009, and just asking that question, uh, can
Hmm.
you donate your food when you move? Um, Once that kind of component is done and off your checklist, you're educating people, you're bringing awareness to the program, you're collecting, right? That's the actual actionable item of the program. And it's pretty simple. You can either have people leaving the actual products in the unit itself. You can have them bringing it to the leasing office, maintenance office through the food collection bags. Um, we work with your team to make sure that, hey, this is what works for our property. And, we're not going to have the food being brought to the donation station. We actually want to make sure that we're doing a clean out. When we turn the unit, we want to make sure that we're just collecting it all at the same time. It's really dependent on each property and case by case. But what's really great is, of course, we are there to assist and to train your teams on what's the best way to do it, right? Um,
Hmm.
I did mention those food collection bags. It's about a medium-sized grocery bag. They fill 10 pounds of food in there. You're going to fill that up. And when you have 5 of those collected, you just give us a call. We have a request page as well. It's right on our toolkit website. And you just shoot over your request for a pickup, and that's where we do the heavy lifting, literally and figuratively, where where we are helping coordinate that pickup from one of our fabulous partners like Court Furniture Rental. We work with FinCore Construction up in the Northeast and in the Mid-Atlantic, to really come pick up that food and bring it to you, your local food bank or food pantry. We try to keep it within that like 10-mile radius of your property. Sometimes it's a little bit farther out, especially if you're in a larger state. I know Texas and New Jersey, definitely different driving, um, driving kind of distances comparatively. So, we do try to keep it as local as possible. And if you have a property, a pantry that you're working with, and already have a relationship with, you just let us know. We'll make sure that it gets there. So you continue that relationship, right? We're not trying to reinvent no wheels here. We want to just be a support system for
Hmm.
for your giving back. Um, what's amazing is that then we get all that data back, whether it's from our fabulous multifamily partners that are bringing it to the food pantry or one of our movers. Um, we are able to get all that data back and report it to you. So once it leaves your property, kind of, hands are clean, don't have to do anything, but you do get that information back so you can share it out again to your residents, to prospective residents and stakeholders as well.
And it all sounds like it doesn't involve any costs for the owners and the managers. It's just they're just enjoying the benefits, but without any
Mhm.
cost. They're just um, doing this for the sake of doing good, right?
From an on-site perspective, definitely. From, you're
Right.
looking at the actual labor costs of everything and volunteer, you're not taking time off. Although it's amazing to go and take time off and go volunteer your time somewhere, this just becomes part of your everyday. It's a
Hmm.
mindset shift. And it's sometimes a little harder to change as a person who worked and studied public health education. Um, changing not just changing models and business models, but changing just like the psychology of how your mind works. It takes time, you know?
Right.
So,
Right.
allowing people to have that opportunity to give back, especially the residents, there's no cost to the residents. We do ask, because we are a nonprofit, we do ask for a financial contribution per property, and that's usually coming from the corporate team as a donation. It is tax deductible, being a 501(c)(3), which is amazing. Again, it helps keep our lights on. And I am happy to report, 97% of the money that goes right back into goes right back into our programming. So every donation that you bring, about, for every dollar, it's 97 cents goes right back into our programming, which is awesome.
And how many properties are you working with now? And what has been the impact of the program so far?
Yeah, so the multifamily program, I know I mentioned, the whole Move for Hunger program started back in 2009, but our multifamily program started a little bit later, almost close to 10 years later, back in 2017. And since then, with those 5 properties that we piloted with our grant money that we received, we've now grown to 2,500 properties across the US. And we got 2 in Canada too, which is very exciting for me. But with those properties, we have provided pretty much close to like about 1 million pounds of food, which might seem low. I mentioned, we're doing this all the time, daily. We're doing these daily pickups, things like that. We have about 6,000 records only with our multifamily program specifically, throughout
Wow.
the past 6 years. That's incredible to when you that's like about 1,000 pickups and drop-offs across the US every single year. Um, and we're hoping that we can, double it in the next year or two here. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of where we're at right now.
That's great. I'm curious about one thing. Do you have a
Mhm.
particular episode or an interaction you've had with a property owner or a manager or someone on site throughout the years that has stuck with you? I don't know, something that has made you, hey, this is had made you feel like this is totally worth it. My
Mhm.
whole time being invested in this cause is totally worth it. How do these professionals react when they see how easy it can be to help others?
I through my travels I get to really talk to so many different people from across all different walks of life, which is incredible, right? It's one of the huge benefits of my job. Not only do I get to travel to new places, but I get to hear stories. And I think one story that I always think of is with a property manager that was out in Washington State. They were a fabulous property. They were our community of the year that year. And so I was over there just talking, and we were doing a video for them, which was really awesome. And we just got to chatting, and they started telling me about how, as a child, they did grow up food insecure. Their mother and their father, they didn't have enough funds, and sometimes they were on those food assistance programs. The breakfasts at school, and
Hmm.
going to the food banks and things like that. And they said, programs like Move for Hunger are so important. and the way that they can basically give back, you know, through that, through their job, every day, it really is, it became almost full circle for them. And I hear stories like that all the time, you know, like, oh, I
Hmm.
used to deal with food insecurity as a child. Um, I had days where I didn't go and have food. And so getting to work in the multifamily sphere and, you know, working with a nonprofit that's dealing with hunger, it really resonates with people, and especially people who have dealt with it. So those are some of the interactions that I've heard, that I've seen. You know, there's millions more. And, you know, um, I ask, I guess, you know, I implore people in the multifamily industry, if you're close with someone, you know, start talking to them a little bit more deeply and seeing if they have that kind of, maybe that background, because they're hunger is kind of a blind disease, quote unquote. You know,
Hmm.
it's something that does not have any guardrails, and you may be looking at somebody and saying, oh, you know, they're fine, they're great, they're good off, and you know, they might be struggling. So be kind to people, and you might
Bottom
be
line,
able
yeah,
to
be
hear that,
kind.
right? Exactly.
Right. So where does all this food go exactly? Who receives all these donations? We haven't really expanded on that very much.
Yeah, so everything stays local. That's the bottom
Okay.
line. So, you know, if you're a, let's, so we'll use New York as an example. Here in New York, we
Okay.
do work with a food bank called Gotham Food Pantry, and they actually help. We help them with some food drops. We also work with communities like um, down in South, I believe it's South Carolina. I believe it's South Carolina. I always get my Carolinas mixed up, if I'm going to be completely honest. Love you both. Love both states. Um, but we have some sweet potato drops that go to the local pantry from the farmers that we work with down there. Um, Anybody can donate to, you know, your VFW, things like that. If there's a local soup kitchen that's down the road, we really try to keep it as localized as possible from not just the multifamily sphere, but also the you know, the perishable and the larger donation sphere as well. Something we didn't really talk about is, you know, disaster relief, and making sure that, you know, when people are dealing with disasters, natural disasters, we're here to help and be support of, you know, of all of the systems. For example, you know, down in Texas, there was a few, I believe it was like 2 years ago now, that really terrible ice storm that happened, and everything completely kind of shut down. We were there to
Yeah, I
assist with
remember.
making sure that, right, like, you know, we're here to help. We got that community some water. We brought that over, which doesn't sound like, maybe it's, you know, you're like, people need to eat, people need water first. And so we were there to assist with that. You know, working with the LA wildfires, not only did we help the LA County Food Bank out there with some support, but we also brought in some funds and some donations in a different way, working with the with AIM, one of the conferences out in Huntington Beach, doing a meal packing event. And so bringing about, I believe it was about 300 meals that we brought over to the LA County Food Bank. So through just doing, you know, a quick walkthrough, making a meal at a conference. So there's been a lot of different ways that we've provided meals, not only through multifamily, keeping it at the local food pantry, but through our farmer program, our perishable bulk program, our fresh food programs, as well as our special events. We're kind of all encompassing in that regard.
And what would you say you enjoy most about your everyday life at Move for Hunger? How do you try to be an inspiration for others to bring real local change to the communities in need?
You know, being the change has been one of my mottos. I know officially did when I went to JMU, but being that inspiration and almost, loving your neighbor, the golden rule, always doing good in my life has always been just my kind of driving force. Um, I think being in the nonprofit world, specifically with Move for Hunger, it has allowed me to go into a space like the multifamily industry. That there are so many giving people. It has allowed me to inspire those people to do some good. It has inspired so many people to say, "Oh, I can do this." And I think that's what really just gives me the strength, the endurance to continue, continue every single day and inspire hopefully some more people to bring real local change to all those communities. Move for Hunger, we're just one little drop in the bucket compared to what a bunch of different affiliates are doing, and hearing those stories and learning that the multifamily sphere is not as scary. It's not the fact that a lot of people like to say that people are that scary landlord. The real estate industry is, and the multifamily industry specifically, there are very kind people and very so many people who want to make a change and want to make impact um, in their local communities, even greater than what they're doing already. And so it's uplifting those spirits, uplifting those people, giving them a voice and an opportunity to kind of do good in a small way to hopefully make it an avalanche into something greater.
And that's a great segue into my last question. What has working with stakeholders in the real estate industry taught you about kindness? Because there is a public perception that real estate agents, I don't know, the broader industry, the perception is quite mixed. But I'm sure you have, as you've mentioned, a different view than most people. Are professionals in the industry open to doing good?
Yes, I think, and that's just, snap of my fingers, there are so many beautiful, amazing people in the multifamily industry. And it has changed my perception too. Like I came in, I knew nothing about multifamily, but it changed my perception. I came in thinking that, it's the really mean landlord person that's gonna just like ask for rent. And a lot of these people, property managers, leasing managers, maintenance, all the way up to the corporate teams, they know that you're dealing with someone's home. They want to make sure that there's community there. Of course, it's great for brand, it's great for ROI, it's great because it's an investment, but they want to take care of their people, either through their employees, you can take it from that perspective, but they also really want to make sure that the residents are taken care of, and that everyone's safe and included as well. And doing good is good for business, but it's really at the end of the day really good for the soul as well. And I've met so many people that just embody that and will continue to do that and continue to be that inspiration, hopefully for other multifamily industry leaders to come in the future.
Bridget, thank you so much for sharing the Move for Hunger story with me and with our listeners. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. And if you're looking to get involved, or join the program, go to moveforhunger.org. We have a ton of different ways that you can get involved, from joining our membership program to becoming a sustaining donor as well. So thank you. Thank you, Laura, for having me. Thank you to all of our amazing partners that we already work with and our partners to come.
Thank you for listening. The next Mission Success episode will come online in the third week of September. But until then, you can check out multihousingnews.com for the latest news, feature stories, and podcasts. And I also encourage you to subscribe to our recently relaunched YouTube channel. Till next time.